Hi, this is Keith from BetterBeadShots.com. In this tutorial, I'm going to go through the steps in creating my DVD case. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do to it is, of course, make a copy of the background layer, adjust the levels, just add a little bit more contrast to it. Not much, just a bit more, like so. I'm going to adjust the hue saturation. Just lower the saturation just a little bit, not too much. Alright, and then from here I'm going to remove the stem. I'm going to use a clone stamp. Choose right about here. Take care of this real quick. Let's zoom in. So I can really fine tune it. Alright, like so. That looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this, make a copy of the background layer, turn the background copy layer to multiply, add a layer mask to it. So make sure that layer mask is highlighted, which it is. Come over here to the brush tool and make sure it's black. Let's get a soft brush. Hardness nice and soft. Let's get it a little bit larger. And I'm going to paint away the mask. The reason why I'm doing this is to help define the edges from the white background. Okay. That's what it is without the layer mask. That's what it is with. I'm not too concerned about the edges here because I'm just going to paint that white anyways. Okay, so I got that done. Now the next step is let's flatten this. I'm just going real fast just to show you what I did. Now I'm going to make a copy of the background layer just in case. Make sure I have a white, all the way white. Use a paintbrush. Let's get a little bit larger here. All right. Now I'm going to flatten this. Okay, so now that I adjusted the bead, the next step is to isolate it. So the quickest way to do this, because it's on a white background, I'm going to put a selection around it. I'm going to come to the magic wand, make sure the magic wand is set to subtractive selection. See, now it's like all the way tight around it. And from here, what I'm going to do is, because I can make a copy of this right now and paste it, but it'll have a really defined edge, and the edge will it'll look cut out, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Select, Modify, Contract. I'm going to contract it 2 pixels. And now from after that, I'm going to go to Select, Feather. And I want it to be feathered 2 pixels. That'll generate a softer edge around it when I copy it. So watch, I hit Control C, Control V, turn off the background layer, and we can see what I copied. And as you can see, the edges are soft. And that's perfect because the bead is reflective and it's going to reflect its environment. So because the edges are soft, I could put any type of environment in the background and it'll look like it's slightly picking up the color. I'm going to copy layer 1, which I'm going to rename to be Bead. Now I'm going to copy this layer over to this document, which I already have sized to be the size that I need. I'm going to make the bead a little bit larger to fill up a little bit more of the space. I'm going to make a copy of the bead layer, pull it down to below it. On bead copy, I'm going to hit Control T for free transform. I'm going to right click on it to flip vertically. Oops, can't see it, it's right there. So it's a mirrored image of the bead above it. From here I'm going to create a layer mask by clicking that. I'm going to fill it all in with black for now. It disappeared, but the bead is still there. And then I'm going to go to Gradient Tool, and I'm going to create a gradient from black to white, like so. Okay. So now I have the reflection under it. The next step is I'm going to create a gradient background portion of it. So now the next step to this is I need to generate the toolbar, and I need to generate an arrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit print screen. I'm going to hit Control N for new. Hit OK. Hit Control V for paste. And looky at what we got here. Here is the toolbar. So I need to copy this toolbar to that corner. Oops. It doesn't need to be exactly precise for this. So I hit Control C for copy. Minimize this for now. Now that I copied it, I'm going to go to the bead layer, hit Control V, and that put it right here. I'm going to resize it by hitting Control T, pulling the corner and holding Shift to maintain its proportions. There. There's the toolbar. Now as for the arrow, I am going to use Custom Shape Tool. Grab an arrow that's close to a cursor arrow, which would have to be, let's go with this one. I'll pick that one. I'm going to change the color here to be black. Now I'm going to now let's reshape this arrow to be a little bit more cursor looking. And let's shorten up this a little bit. Okay, so now we have our arrow. I'm going to rotate it so it's a little bit more. There. Let's make it a little bit smaller. It's a little bit too big right now. Okay. Now as for the text, I start writing the text and I resize it. I had to cut it short because YouTube only allows certain, like under 10 minutes of video. So I had to abbreviate what I did with the text. As you can see here, I'm just laying it down, resizing it, as well as finding the right fonts and the right colors. The font on the bottom, I wanted to be a dark blue, so it would tie into the top of the layout, the top color of the gradient. And as see here, side-by-side comparison, they're a little bit different, but yeah, it's pretty much the same layout. Thank you for watching this tutorial.